One of the five myths, if you will, is that DEI efforts in educational institutions and in corporations and everywhere else are divisive, that they seek to divide people. That's just frankly untrue. In fact, those programs, policies, and efforts attempt to bring people together across the various diversities and identities and experiences that they bring. The second really big lie is that too much money is being wasted and spent on DEI. Listen, I work with hundreds of corporations and I am in their books. I know what their budgets are. It's almost criminal. I often say to myself, you ought to be ashamed of
Right.
yourself given the amount of money that this company makes and how little you're investing in DEI. Listen, Kim, I'm talking global multinational companies with a $50,000 DEI budget.
Oh, come on now. Come on.
How?
That's like,
Right.
that's a coffee budget.
Right. So that's one of the myths that, all this money is being spent. Let me give you another one. Another one is that all these DEI programs in K-12 schools, higher ed institutions, corporations, in the military, that they're all the same. How can they be all the same? They cannot be all the same, right? DEI is not just one thing. The people, the professionals, the experts who lead these efforts, they design them in response to the challenges, needs, realities, and expectations of that particular context. I can tell you right now, what we are doing in the name of DEI at USC ain't the same as what y'all doing right across town at UCLA.
Right.
Color blindness kills. There was a congressional hearing on March 7th about the so-called divisiveness of DEI initiatives on college campuses. And one of the expert witnesses was calling for the elimination of DEI in the curricula in medical schools. Well, certainly that is guaranteed to exacerbate the maternal mortality crisis.
Yes.
Guaranteed to exacerbate it, right? Listen, color blindness seeks to erase people of color, our histories, our cultural contributions, just our existence in organizations. It also won't fix current or historical racial inequities. A colorblind approach is not going to fix the mess that racism has made over generations, over centuries, right? And then furthermore, racism itself isn't colorblind.
Right.
I think the major takeaway here is that white supremacists will use any tool at their disposal, call it CRT, call it DEI, whatever you call it, right? They're going to weaponize it and tell lies and spread lies about it. So you're right. Folks who attempted to distance themselves from CRT with the aim of preserving DEI ultimately failed because the attackers don't care what you call it. It's the justice that they're coming after. It's the inclusion that they're coming after, right? So yeah, you're absolutely right. It did work.
It worked. And now the question is, now that we said, look, they're trying to, huff and puff and blow all our houses down. The idea that, oh, I don't live in that house hasn't saved us. And so now the question is, what knowledge have we learned from this recent history in order to help us build a more powerful, integrated, coherent movement to protect the freedom to learn? So you've been in this field for a while. Is there a takeaway that you want to leave us with?
Yeah, well, first, I think that solidarity and coalition building is essential to the protection of our democracy. Is why I'm so grateful, Kim, that you are leading in the ways that you're leading. And, there's so many other folks around the country, including us at the USC Race and Equity Center, right? So I think the coalition is really important, setting tables of people who know better, people who have the facts, who have the evidence, who have the data, and, aggregating all of those truths and spreading it using social media, digital media, and all of the other media tools that are available to us, I think are important. I also think that this particular fight deserves an all hands on deck approach, which is what we're taking at my center. You know, every day in everything that we're doing, we are using our privileged position to help people understand what's true and what isn't true, and what is at stake for our democracy. The last thing that I'll say, Kim, that I think is important is that money is needed to fight back, because
Say that again. Say that again.
money, the coin is essential, right? Because the other side of this fight is incredibly well funded.